again.
And of course, they've already locked in their LCQ spot already, but they can also cause a huge upset. Over at event.brawlstars.com, 85% of people voting on the side of SK Gaming to the 15% of Humble. But I think it's a little bit closer than that. I'm not going to lie. With the Humble have been playing recently, I just got a feeling as we're going to Brawl, our first set of this series, Pinball Dreams will be the map. And this is an SK kind of map, to be fair. I mean, there's a lot of choke points, and Rico will have a great time here, but I don't really feel like SK are going to bring it. Bans already in. Squeak first pick that's left open here. My word, SK should have banned that. Barley, Shelly, and Cordelis to the Dynamite, Barley, and Willow of Humble. That's a strong starting hand. I mean, that is a great first pick for Humble here. With some win rates as well across the global scene. Shelly obviously right out on top on 74%. The El Primo at 73%, which is actually kind of surprising, but it is a map that does cater towards it in the later stages of the draft. Of course, SK would probably be championing a Sprout here later on if it shows a potential opening, an opportunity to seize, but first pick, Nita, going to play it safe on those left or right-hand side lanes, because surely that's not going to be played in mid, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't mind it per se. I'm still expecting some sort of thrower to maybe be showing up, just because, I mean, it's the one Brawl map where you usually have one, and Barley has been the best option. It is banned out, so won't be seeing that here. Stu is going to be their pick, potentially with some wall breaks as well, or it's going to be the speed zone. Not entirely sure just yet. It might also depend on if there is a thrower that gets thrown into the mix by Humble. But so far, to me, that Squeak pick is just so strong, because it is a map where genuinely, it's not just that there's 3 lanes, there's only 3 choke points on the map to contest that mid. So if you manage to shut one of them down, suddenly you have a lot less worries to have for that mid control. Ash gonna be their pick, and that's gonna be ramping up the aggression in Humble's favor.
Well, I'm not too sure on this combo for SK so far. I mean, I'm a bit reserved on it. The Ash is definitely bold for Humble as now they approach their third and final pick, but there's got to be a bit more range to SK. They're got to have a bit of a mid. Maybe the Stu is going to be planned to have that mid lane control, but I mean, certainly now with the Ash coming in, Crow going to come in for Humble, which is a really nice one for them. Slime Toxic can provide a great deal of value on a map like this, and certainly for those goal scoring opportunities, but no wall break on their side. Now, no sign of it maybe on the Stu potentially for SK. Speed Zone's always going to provide some good value for sure, but those lane sides are really where you can get those stalemates, and the break from the Stu would be definitely advantageous in that scenario. But I mean, I like what Humble have got so far, I'm not going to lie. Carl, they might have swayed me a little bit more towards SK, actually. It's not a bad shout for them. They needed to have something in that mid. It just wasn't really going to thrive without it. And yeah, that aggression is going to go a long way here.
Yeah, I like the Carl. Interesting comps here. I was still kind of expecting maybe even a Tick to be showing up, or a Sprout, but I mean, it is also risky to bring it early into the draft, because if there is any sort of wall break, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare for that lane. Nevertheless, I feel like both sides have their merits here. I think it's going to depend quite heavily on how SK are able to shut down the Ash, which could have some very dominant matchups if they're not careful.
Big early slow to Yoshi, putting him very vulnerable here between Cyclone there and the Squeak. Tomsy there doing great work on the top left-hand side as well. Going in now, so the aggression there is the break from Chaos, using on defense though. Has to realistically under the circumstances. OP then comes in and clears up so quickly there. Great aggression onto Tomsy, continuing it on, and that's alleviated that entire push. Great stuff from OP there, allowing now the Bulls to come forwards and get themselves a bit better into this mid scenario.
SK Gaming looking to find an opening, and Ikeos is gonna try to range that by opening up some more walls. Bull still kind of just stuck in that bush. A nice connection from Luki and some small lane switch ups across the board on both sides. Jumping from Cyclone, he does go down. We'll be able to connect the poison on 2 players, but it's a 2-on-2 at the end of the day.
It's defense. Chaos on the left-hand side, though, still a problem. Thompson clears it up, and yeah, they've got to get rid of Yoshi. They've got to get that Bruce Bear either baited out and taken care of now, or could be on the receiving end of it later. And it was a goalless Cyclone. Yeah, he's back now. A bit worried there, standing completely still. But so far, so good. SK are very good at control-based scenarios. With OP now coming into the roster as a result of what was a good few months ago now, really has lended a lot more aggression. There's the Bruce Bear coming out, and Thomas should be able to take care of it relatively easily. So Yoshi will have to gain back another one. Meanwhile, it's like SK might even be waiting for overtime here, and I don't think that scenario is going to potentially favor them very well. But OP coming in now on the right-hand side. He's got the flying hook to hand, soup to hand as well. It's a good spot for SK to find themselves in now, especially if Yoshi can get Bear.
Overtime is slowly creeping up, but we might not even see it as we have 2 kills coming through for SK. Only Tomsy left in defense, and even that's not going to be lasting forever. SK Gaming find a goal, and HMBLE only got about 12 seconds left to try to do something. They will get a low HP player, maybe even a second to jump in now as well. But can Tomsy get through? No, not quite. It was close, but not quite.
Bring in, but I love that OPE play. Honestly, it just made such a big difference to the way the game played out. And from there on, let's see though, as we start things fresh, an early residue from Lukey, and realistically that opening hand where HMBLE have got a great opportunity ahead of themselves to try to seize, but best case to start to whistle out of this and gain back control. Once 2 more are gone, then HMBLE are in a bit more trouble with this squeak pick, but in these early moments it can just bring so much value to their side. For the most part though, it's SK that are getting more off the back of things. OP can't be too far away from Super now. Tomsy low force back, and that's going to allow Yoshi to bring forwards to the right-hand side as well. So I like things so far from SK despite going down there, and decent spot.
OP gonna corner up the ball around the mid side. OP is low HP now as well. This could be the opening that they very much needed. 2 players only in defense. Yoshi low HP as well. Tomsy is able to get it through just before the bear stuns him. And HMBLE get an early goal.
Early residue in the mid again, but this is where SK thrive. But just by having this positioning power over things, they can just take their time. And they are a very calm and collected team. That's a great shot on there from Lukey. Fantastic work from him. Now HMBLE pushing forwards in a big way here. I mean, this could be fantastic from them. Oh, that connection onto OP coming in. And he's already so low, he might even go down here as well. Tomsy's shot can't find the angle though. And SK will still survive. Finally, Chaos goes down. The bear might just come in the nick of time here, realistically, because that slow is huge. OP goes in with the flying hook and the super, but Cyclone just jumps away with ease. HMBLE are looking better and better at the moment.
They're looking so comfortable right now as well. It's not going to be easy for the Nita against the Ash Eater. It was time slowly ticking. SK Gaming need to be on the move. They need to create some space. But so far, HMBLE doesn't grant them any sort of space just yet. Yoshi trying to creep up that right side, but getting shut down before he even gets close to the fight. OP will go in here against Lukey, but he should be going down to the poison, and really not much of a push at all there at the end from SK Gaming, as HMBLE strike back and take game 2.
Are starting to fight back. Wants to get warmed up a little bit more. That's an early residue there, but a great flying hook awareness there from OP, knowing that it was coming. Nonetheless, though, Tomsy is there to ensure the takedown, and that's going to put Yoshi out of position massively so here. We'll get some value of these shots. We'll go down eventually. Chaos passes the ball to the corner, tries to get some time to his team, but opening hand is so strong. Tomsy continuing on. He's got full HP now. The walk-in is there, and HMBLE scoring 25 seconds. SK have got to start to really get control over this situation.
25 seconds in, Tomsy managed to get 3 kills and score. Phenomenal stuff from him, really. They need to shut him down and not leave those sort of opportunities open. And this is a sort of counter-attack that might just grant them a goal, though. Cyclone trying to shut things down a little bit. Tomsy will get stunned. Bull is in an awkward position. Yoshi trying to reach for it. The pass doesn't go. Luki intercepts it, and for now, the defense from Humble is gonna hold.
How did Luki find that angle? That connection was saving. So saving for Humble there, my word. What a defense. I think Cyclone got off a slow just before the jump as well, I think. I didn't see it back, but Bruce Bear coming in now. It's not over. The defense is still going to hold here for Humble, but we're all tied up. The slow is huge onto Yoshi. He might even go down for it as well. He is slowed. Ah, he can't get the ball. Is there enough time here for Thomas? I don't think there is. Realistic to land the shots that he needs. Chaos will get it in. We're all tied up, but literally next goal takes the set.
50 seconds until overtime. Yoshi has a bear looking to aggress. The stun will connect. The bear will eventually fall. Tomsy playing it defensive. Ope trying to go for a play with that bolt, but it's not going to work out. Ope is able still to get a kill, making a double actually with that bear stun. And that might be the goal they need, but some awkward passing. And yeah, that's going to go through. Chaos is the one to slot it in and to secure the opening set for SK Gaming.
Great stuff towards the end. That was a needed pass as well, because he would have surely got on forwards. For Humble, sometimes their drafts don't land the mark. Today, though, I'm quite liking what I'm seeing. They didn't hesitate to land Squeak first pick, and they might even get the opportunity to do it again if SK leave it open on Crystal Arcade for gem grab. It's going to provide a lot of value if they manage it, but maybe they'll lock it down this time round. But nonetheless, those side lanes and the bans and the picks here are so vital, honestly. You've really got to land them. And I think Cordelius and Shilly's a must ban here for me, along with the Squeak, but let's see. And they are all banned out. Actually, the exact ban on the side of SK. So they need to the Carl and the Spike there of Humble. So surely Humble will first pick, and they do Rust. I think it's a really solid one. One that we often forget a lot in the EMEA region on a map like this, but it can just bring up so much space. And like that, maybe not the best place to draft it, maybe, because SK then can just have something more long-ranged in that eventuality of it being broken open. But I mean, I think the win rates here for those Brawlers, I'm not too convinced we'll necessarily see those three. Macy's probably more of an SK kind of idea that they might like float around sometimes, but maybe for Humble as well. I'm not too sure necessarily, but I think there's better options regardless. I mean, B here in the mid has a great time. Yeah, Gus is great. I mean, Bo, I still think has got a place in this particular map too. That's a very good starting hand from SK.
Yeah, I like the Gus. It's been seen here a decent amount. Usually gonna be a mid. Let's see if we have any of our lane picks there that will be facing that Ruffs. And as you said, I think Ruffs is still in a pretty decent place on this map. That's been overshadowed just a little bit by Gray, offering, you know, also a lot of support, but as well as some of the wall breaking that you typically want that Ruffs for. It's going to be a Tara that will be brought in, and I mean, it's a good brawler to deal with the sandbags, and up close it will win against that Ruffs, but it needs to get up close. Let's see what the reaction is going to be from Humble.
Tara's great, but realistically could prove troublesome if they can break open the right-hand side and the left-hand side as well. It's not necessarily a big ask, but nonetheless, it might change their approach. B, I think, is a fantastic mid, honestly. You can't realistically go wrong too much against that, but got to be a bit aware, though, with the Gus against the Cookie Popper gadget. That can really be a problem for me, but I think SK's comp is more daring a little bit. They're quite evenly matched, no doubt about it, but this has realistically got to be a side lane here for Humble, and I think it's a troublesome thing because whatever they go, it's going to be responded to by SK. It's kind of a tough position in the draft for them in that respect. But I mean, Spike is not the worst of ideas. It's more of a safer idea. Ems, though, I really do like here for Humble. I think it's going to be fantastic. But again, you know, it can be countered. I mean, Carl is available here. No, it's banned out actually by Humble. I stand corrected, but and the Spike too. But you know, Ems is a good shout. It's a really good shout. You can just force the aggression into the mid if you can clear up your lane side. So SK got to be very concerned about that.
Yeah, also two are anti-tanks on the side of Humble, so hopefully for them, dissuading any sort of aggressive or over-aggressive, shall I say, ideas. And it's going to be a Sprout, so more control-based, and a bit of an interesting one here as well. Not necessarily a brawler that I remember seeing in a hot minute on Crystal Arcade, so I'm quite curious on how that's going to be playing out, and really wondering what kind of lane matchups SK is hoping for with that Sprout. Not sure.
Bit weird, but in the hands of SK, I don't mind it. You know, it's like when they bring in Rico somewhere that most teams wouldn't play it. I mean, if it's IKAOS on it, then it's like, it's going to be a good day. You know, and it's probably going to be him on it for this. You know, I have not really seen it, I'll be honest, on this particular map. Could play a potential mid-roll if they want to swap out and deviate towards a potential scenario that's aggressive. This double-sided, talking about aggression between Cyclone and Luki onto OPE, and they've forced out 2 support from Beyonds already. Did he got 1 more gadget left and might even go down to this, and he will. So that's not the best lane side already from him. Tom's, in the meanwhile, is struggling to IKAOS as well on the right-hand side and just keeping things at bay. And it's going to win it off. So I'm curious to see where these walls are going to land now from Chaos, as that could be crucial as to whether I kind of like the pick. And now I'm kind of liking the pick. I mean, that's force looking ties to the left, but you also get an angle onto Yoshi still. So, and that slow's going to connect there as well. Nicely done. It's a bit of a weird draft, Teddy.
It definitely is. I just love the execution, though, from SK Gaming. Yoshi joining up with IKAOS on that right-hand side just to build up that control and set IKAOS up for success. And afterwards, IKAOS helping out on the left side with some really good walls that offer a lot more control for Yoshi down in the mid. Just very, very strong ideas from SK Gaming. And so far, Humble, they have yet to really find an answer.
Yeah, look at Chaos. It's that right side lane. It's not even up for contention. It's just completely shut down, and Chaos is just building himself a little castle there. I mean, he's untouchable. Thompson can't even get close. I don't think Thompson's got... Has he landed anything in this whole entire game? I don't think he has. I could be wrong, but I mean, that is dominant stuff. I mean, that says a big story.
I like trees.
It certainly did. I mean, just not really the place you'd be expecting to spread. I love the lane change up. I love that they are trying to, you know, keep things fresh and bring in some new ideas to catch our opposition off guard. And so far, early on again, I mean, it's all the control in the world, really, for SK Gaming, and maybe not anymore, but enough to get 4 gems before Humble got there first.
I mean, OP's just gifted, realistically, some stats for Thompson to have at the end of this game, actually. I mean, I think he would have had a donut if it hadn't been for that lane swap, but I don't know whether it's working out as well for SK, despite the gems all going towards them, apart from the one with Luki. IKAOS patiently waiting for this wall as well, and now it goes down at just the right time for Cyclone to be forced around, wasting so much of his time, and just continuing to tap away and whistle him down that bottom left-hand side. Might even get the kill for it. He's going to be pretty low, yeah, 1,500. But starting to establish himself a little bit better. Air supply drop's not going to really help him out too much either. And Yoshi, despite being low, will be able to still contest the situation, especially with that clear up there. Thompson's the last remaining hope, and it's not going to be enough. SK should be running away with this countdown.
Countdown locked in now. And Humble, I mean, not even going to try. They know it's over. They know that this set is going the way of SK, just like the first did, but this one even much more dominant as well. It's gonna be 2 sets now, 2-0 in favor of SK Gaming, and I think that the draft was incredibly clever from SK Gaming, but what I like even more is you can tell how prepared they were to play that comp as well. Humble, it's gonna be a whole lot harder after this gem grab set, where they just had nothing going their way. Didn't really stand a chance from the first second until the last. It was all SK Gaming. Now, Kaboom Canyon is a little bit of a less draft-heavy map, I would say, where you can kind of get away with, you know, some more safe drafts and try to just, you know, play it about mechanics and skill. And I feel like that is the sort of approach that Humble would like to embrace at this point. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad place to be here for Humble, but you have to remember they're 2 sets behind, so no room for mistakes whatsoever from this moment till their last.
Well, for Humble, do or die potentially here. Got to really bring things back under control, because like we were saying, so close to foot on the leaderboards, and at the moment not able to gain a singular set of SK. It's not looking good. Battle first pick from SK. Bans being Crow, Bonnie, and Colette for Humble. Bonnie, Carl, and Squeak for SK. So I think it's a pretty decent starting hand, to be fair. I mean, the Bonnie, I think, is a must ban here. Crow especially as well, but still definitely Brock, I think, can have a massive place now in looking at those bans that are on the table here. There are some crazy, more outlandish ideas, but I think that's one of the more safer that's available to these guys. Amber, for sure, I think absolutely has a place, but maybe just not necessarily all the time here. Dropping off a little bit in this region, more so in NA, but nonetheless, Eve going to come in for Humble. The hatchlings is primarily where I think her strengths lie, especially, of course, with the lake being able to have more maneuverability and access to the safe. But yeah, the Brock combination, really like that from Humble. I think Brock is definitely the safest way to go for me. Eve, each to their own. I don't necessarily mind it. I'm not massively a fan of it. I think it's not really first pick material, but if you have got the coin toss, then it kind of makes sense to kind of pair with the Brock.
Yeah, I don't mind the Eve per se. I mean, it will depend on how the draft lines up. But with a call ban as well, like, and as well as Squeak, actually, there's not going to be the most sort of AoE damage that can easily dispatch of every single one of those hatchlings in one go. So, well, I mean, Shelly can take care of them quite well. So that's going to be an interesting one to bring in here. Shelly has been in a deadly place for a while now. This is one of the heist maps where it's really not shocking to see it. I just kind of left my mind for a second, but it really makes sense. I mean, huge middle push. What more could a Shelly ask for?
Yeah, when Shelly starts to come really forefront into the meta, the phrase that I was always using was that I've seen her played in Kaboom Canyon. If you can play her there, you can play her anywhere. And just bringing back full circle now, SK bringing it in here. Jessie as well, very North American ideas, and I do quite like that. I love it when regions start to just take ideas from others and start to really show their worth, especially in East Asia as well. Just gets a lot of play rates here as well. Very dangerous on the safe if left untouched, and Humble have got to be able to ensure that they take that particular brawler down with a lot of amount of haste behind him. Amber is going to come in for Humble. I really like that from them. And in terms of the draft, I think SK have got a safer idea with the bell. I mean, maybe into the hatchlings it might struggle a bit. The hatchlings are going to trigger those nest eggs if it's brought in on the gadget side for her. So maybe reverse polarity could have a place in that respect. At the same time, if they keep the Shirley back, it could go the way of Humble here. I just have a feeling that SK have got a comp here which it can go from bad to worse very, very quickly, especially with that Jessie, especially with a Shelly pop-off moment. So I think for Humble, they've got to be very much concerned around those things and start to just keep that control at bay. They've got to play this in the mid and nowhere else.
Yeah, both teams do have that sort of, you know, pop-off potential as well, where they just get one team wipe and suddenly there's loads of damage coming through on that save. But I'm kind of with you, where I feel like it could be even a little bit stronger on the side of SK. If there is a turret that's boosted up, I mean, it can be a world of pain. So far, Yoshi not able to get in range, and Ope should be going down, but actually finds a kill, and that could be kind of huge, because now he's going to be going towards that save, gets a couple shots off, and so did Yoshi, getting that save down to 17%. Cyclone will go down as he popped that nest egg. Probably didn't really expect it to be placed there just yet. And for the time being, it is SK Gaming with a 4% lead.
Stuff from both sides. The rocket field to break things open from Cyclone there. OPE, Band-Aid just in the nick of time there as well. Still going to keep the Clay Pigeons range onto the safe to get more damage. In the meanwhile, it's Chaos as well, tapping on that top mid as Traders there onto Cyclone. Staying out of harm's way and just trying to get a couple of shots whilst his teammates come back in. So now OPE does join the mix. That speed of the Shelly, still without the bush, still able to juke around these shots. And look at OP's now closing on Cyclone, gets the kill on Cyclone, lands onto the safe, not done yet, gets Lukey as well, and Tomsy's for dessert. I mean, what is going on? How would have got to shut OPE down better than this?
Ope just getting in, getting 3 kills, and I mean, he goes out the hard way, but regardless, value is there. And right now, Humble are on the back foot. They have 40 seconds to turn this one around, or it's going to be a match point for SK Gaming.
Better onto OPE, but maybe too little too late, though. Lukey is finding Chaos. The 600 HP, but now shielded up as the hatchlings do come in to slow the advance of OPE. In the meanwhile, though, it's the damage which is lacking still for me from Humble. If Cyclone can get close, they can just secure it, but OP just going to use that wall to his advantage, and with no break there available to the gadget side of Cyclone, no rocket fuels to hand. Oh, that's perfect. Tomsy gets the double. They can push forwards now and land some shots as the Incinerary is going to come in so clutch here. But is there enough time for it? This body's now blocking the path, and that is not going to be enough time, I don't think, at all. SK defended just in the nick of time there.
And then 2 sets after that. That is quite a big task. Quite a lot to ask for. OP immediately low HP though, and a gadget from Cyclone just securing it. Trying to get that early control and maybe some early damage on safe, as Yoshi surely will end up falling as well. Eventually to Cyclone. Still able to find a trade. Yeah, it took a second. Cyclone has a super to get some extra damage on safe as well. So far a good start from Humble, but it is going to be SK, which is a little bit more control now.
Good burn there from Tom. He's just 120 HP now, so OP pushing up as he should. Just another gadget there, just tries to get the burn but can't find it as the clay pigeons are popped by OP as well, and he's not done yet. Finding his way round to get a little tap onto Tomsy and stays in position. Just keeps him low. Can he finish it off? No. But nonetheless, Humble. Oh, that's a nice little tap from Yoshi. Might be able to get a super off here. They've got to shot this down quick. That wasn't the placement I was expecting. He's playing it very cautious on that tower up front. Yeah, right?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if that was the play from Yasha. I mean, nevertheless, SK still have the lead, and Luki is going to be shut down. So it's more of a missed opportunity than a big mistake just yet. But if Humble are able to come back, I mean, those are the sort of moments where I feel like he definitely could have had a lot more damage onto that safe if he placed the turret down earlier and towards it. But for now, it all seems fine for SK Gaming, as they have a very big lead, and I think Luki has already given up as well, as he knows it is over for SK Gaming. The turret finally going to be placed down, and SK lock in the 3-0 victory.
Solid stuff from SK. Back out in front and moving on to the semi-finals. In convincing fashion, let's be honest, Humble had a great opportunity, no doubt about that. They really